Hi Yogi, and welcome to another installment of Out of Office Yoga. In today's practice, we'll really be focusing on the hips and glutes. Especially if you've been sat all day already, you may have noticed that your glutes have either gone to sleep or they're feeling a bit sore. So we'll be spending most of this class in a standing position so that we can really get the blood pumping through those muscles that support your hip joint and keep your hips healthy for a long period of time, hopefully. So the only thing you really need for this practice is a chair with 4 legs so that it has a really stable foundation towards the floor, and you may wish to have a wall nearby as well for later on in the practice. We'll get right into it so that I don't keep you for more than 15 minutes today. So we'll have the left hand on top of the backrest of the chair. We'll start to shift our weight into our left leg. We'll keep a little bit of buoyancy on that left knee so that it's not completely locked all the way out. And gently, right hand comes to the right hip. We'll float the right knee into the chest and flex the toes towards the shin. We'll do some rotations of the thigh bone into the shin bone here. So open the knee out to the side, then internally rotate the leg to bring the knee back, really reach it behind you and bring it back to the front. And do that 2 more times in that direction, just seeing if you can really isolate the movement just into your thigh bone. And then we'll reverse, so we'll take the knee back first. We'll take it out to the right side and back in front. And again, do that just 2 more times here. Then release the foot down all the way for a moment. You can give your legs a little shimmy of the hips if that helps release the muscle tension a bit. We'll stay on this side just for a couple more exercises. So we'll shift our weight back into the left leg. We'll float the right knee into the chest, right hand on the hip. Flex the toes up towards your shin bone. And then as you exhale, kick the heel away and hover there for a moment. Inhale to retract the knee. Take it out to the right. Exhale, press the right heel away. Inhale, draw the knee in. This time, point the toes. As you exhale, press the toe away from you. Inhale, draw the knee in, turn it out to the right. And exhale, press the leg away and hover. Then release the foot all the way down. From here, several options. We're going to bend the knees. Option 1 is to take your right knee over the left, so as if you're sitting cross-legged. You can keep the big toe on the floor, which helps with balance, and the hand can still be on the backrest. You take the sitting bones down and back into a sort of softer glute stretch, but it's helpful for some of us who are very tight hips. And from here, option 2 is to bring your right ankle just above the left knee. Again, you could be here with the right hand on the hip, left hand on the backrest, and take your sitting bones down and back. And if the balance is feeling really easy here in figure of 4 pose, you could take the hands together at the heart center and take your sitting bones a little bit lower if you can. And if you want to challenge your strength a little bit, then as you exhale, you straighten the bottom leg. As you inhale, you bring the sitting bones down and back. And do have 2 more rounds. And when you're done, wherever you are, gently release the foot back to the floor, and we'll change sides. I'm going to move my chair so that I can still face you. We'll do all of that on the second side. So from here, we'll shift our weight into the right leg. The right hand can rest on the chair. Slowly, when you're ready, with a little bit of buoyancy on the right knee, you lift the left knee into the chest. Left hand is on the left hip. Again, flex the toes towards your face. Turn the knee out to the side. Spin it behind you and then bring it back in front. And that 2 more times. See if you can really isolate the movement in the hip joint. And eventually we'll reverse the movement so the knee goes back to the side and in front. 2 more times. Eventually release the foot all the way to the floor. You can give your hips and feet a little bit of a shake out if there's a lot of muscular tension going on. From here, we'll again shift our weight into the right leg, draw the left knee into the chest, flex the left toes towards the shin, As you exhale, kick the heel away and hover there for a brief moment. Inhale to rebend the knee. Take it out to the side. Exhale, kick the heel away. Inhale back through center, point the toes, kick the left big toe away from you, hover. Inhale back in, take the knee out to the left, press the big toe away and release the leg all the way down. A little bit of a ballet there, yoga ballet. From here, we'll again take that variation of figure of four pose. So option one is to bend the knees quite deeply. You could cross the left foot or left leg over the right and take your sitting bones down and back here. Option two is to bring your left ankle just above the right knee for figure of four pose. Again, aim of the game is for your sitting bones to be drawing down and back as much as you can. And if it's very easy with the balance today, you could bring the hands together at the heart center, descend your sitting bones a little bit more. And again, if you want to really get those glutes engaged, you straighten the standing leg as you exhale. You inhale to reach the sitting bones down and back. Exhale to come up for our final round here. Then gently release the hands and the legs. Again, you can give the legs a little shimmy. Eventually we'll step the left foot out to the side, at least to leg length, maybe even a little bit more if that's okay for you in terms of hip mobility. You might already be hitting your limits here. From here, the feet are parallel to each other. We're going to take our way into the left leg and bend the left knee quite deeply. So again, the sitting bones are drawing down and back, and we're slightly pressing the left knee out towards the pinky toe. Again, the hands can be on the hips, so you're really starting to feel into that inner thigh stretch on the right leg. And stay for your last couple of rounds of breath. Relax the shoulders, keep the gaze down so the back of the neck is long, and then switch sides, so deep bend on the right knee, really press the right knee towards the right pinky toe. Send the sitting bones down and back until you feel gentle stretch on the inside of your left thigh. Stay for a few rounds of breath. And maybe for the final side, time on each side, you may wish to, as you come back to the first side, reach your arms forward and back so you're widening the space between the shoulders. In yoga practice, we refer to this pose as Skandasana. Take it to the second side. And in weightlifting, this is more akin to a Cossack squat, so you may be familiar with this. We'll bring the hands to the hips, straighten both legs as we come upright, then step the left foot back to the right, feet hip distance. Now this is where you may wish to have a wall. We're going to do a single leg good morning variation. So from the feet hip distance, we'll have the hands on the hips. Several options here. So we'll start with the weight on the right leg. And you can either simply step the left foot behind you and rest the big toe on the floor, or you could bring the whole of your sole of your left foot to a wall space behind you. Lengthen the chest up towards the chin, roll the shoulders back as you exhale here. As you inhale, bring the chest forward parallel to the floor. See if you can keep the right leg almost straight. And then press through both feet as you exhale to come up to standing. And we'll do that 2 more times on this side. Inhale to come forward. Maybe the torso is parallel. Exhale to press back up. Final round. Really slowly descend. And really press actively through the legs as you come up. Take it to the second side. So shift over to your left leg. Keep a gentle buoyancy on the left knee. Again, either the right big toe is resting behind you, or you're pressing the sole of the right foot against the wall. As you inhale, you lengthen the spine, stand nice and tall, exhale here. On your next inhale, bring the chest forward parallel to the floor. See if you can stop right before your spine wants to curve or your knee wants to bend, and then press through the soles of both feet to come back upright. Slowly as you inhale, slowly descend the chest towards the floor, and exhale, press through the feet to come up. Final time here. Then gently release the foot. From here, you'll be happy to know that we're finally coming to sit all the way down. I'll spin my chair to face you. From here, sit towards the front edge of your seat. Make sure that your feet are flat on the floor. And we'll start with the left ankle just above your right knee. Again, flex the left toes towards the shin bone. Coming into another variation of figure 4 pose. It's sort of, you could think of it as a seated pigeon pose. We'll have the hands to the outer edges of our chair, maybe even your armrest if it's within reach. And then roll your shoulders back. Really pretend that you're puffing your chest out in front of you. Slowly start to hinge forward from the hips. And maybe you stay really nice and tall. But maybe you find that as you exhale, and we'll be here just a little bit longer than the other poses, you might be able to release a little bit more tension somewhere in the hip joint. And you might find that eventually, without the spine rounding, without your sitting bones lifting, you can slowly descend your chest towards your front calf, maybe even past it. It sort of depends on your body proportions here. And eventually press through your right big toe to come all the way back up to seated. From here, take the right hand to the sole of your left foot. Left hand supports your left knee, and you can have a little rock side to side of the knee so that you're just mobilizing your thigh bone inside the hip joint, maybe even taking a few rotations in both directions. And eventually bring your left heel to the seat of your chair. Shimmy all the way to the back of your chair, interlace your hands in front of the shin. As you exhale, draw the knee in towards you, really pinch the shoulder blades together at the back, lift the chest, but descend your chin towards your collarbones. Stay for a few rounds of breath. It's sort of a seated Apanasana variation. And maybe here on your final exhale, squeeze the knee in a little bit tighter if you can. Then release that foot all the way down. We'll change sides, so we'll have the right ankle just above the left knee. Again, flex the right toes towards the shin. Bring the hands either sides of the chair. Slowly just tilting the upper body from the hip joint to come forward. So it may not be far, as long as you can keep the spine really nice and tall, the shoulders rolled back, and the chest almost pretending to sort of puff out, kind of like you can imagine the top of a parachute where you have that sort of plumy mushroom shape. You want to really puff your chest out. Maybe, however, as you exhale, maybe even make an audible sigh as you exhale, so that there's a little bit of a release of tension. And over time, maybe your chest wants to touch your calf, or maybe it's even aiming past it. Maybe if you have a very long torso, you might be getting your belly button towards your calf. Who knows? There might be some very tall gazelles practicing with us here on YouTube. And then slowly press through your left big toe to come all the way back up to seated. From here, second side of rock the baby, will take the left hand to the sole of the foot. Right hand supports the back of the knee. We can lean back slightly so that we can start to just get a little bit of a shimmy going of the leg and especially your thigh bone into your hip socket. You might even decide to do some gentle circles in one direction and the other. Not getting too fussy, it's very free form here. You don't have to worry too much as long as there's no pain in the knee joint and there's no straining. And eventually bring your right heel all the way to the seat of your chair. Interlace, again, your fingers in front of the shin, but go one pinky finger over. So you're in the unusual interlace. Then draw the knee in towards you. Really roll the shoulders back as if you're trying to touch the shoulder blades towards each other. Keep the chin tucked in. Puff the chest up again. And as you exhale, squeeze the knee in quite tight, and we stay for a couple of rounds of breath here. And maybe here on your final exhale, squeeze a little bit tighter. Then gently release the foot. Cross your right ankle in front of the left. Plant the hands either sides of your feet. And from here, lift the hips if you can. You don't have to straighten your legs all the way. Gently walk the hands over towards the right side. So you get a deep opening along the left outer hip into the left side waist and the left rib cage. Really puff out that left rib cage. See if you can send the breath into that left side body. And gently walk the hands back into center. Release your hips back to the chair and change the cross of your legs. So have your left ankle in front of the right. Plant the hands down on the floor. Lift the hips when you're ready. Again, only straighten the legs as much as you're comfortable with. It doesn't have to be all the way. Then walk the hands over to the left side. As much as you can, the right hip is drawing back, left hip is rolling forward. Feeling into that deep, deep, deep side stretch. Maybe you can walk the hands a little bit further over. And really puffing out the right rib cage and seeing if you can direct the breath a little bit more into the right side of the body. And gently the hands walk back into center, release your hips to the floor and uncross your legs. And that is it for our practice today. Hopefully you've enjoyed this brief movement break that you might have peppered throughout your day here. And of course, if you did like it, then please give this video a thumbs up. It really supports the channel as well if you subscribe or share these videos with any of your friends and family who may also be stuck in their home offices right now, itching for a bit of movement to sort of intersperse into their day. Of course, if you have any questions or comments, please pop them in the comment section down below and I will get back to you. If you wanted to find me anywhere else online, then all of that information will be in the description for this video. And hopefully I will see you back here next week for another little bit of wiggling about. And hopefully you have a lovely rest of your day today. And I can't wait to see you next week when we will be covering the legs and feet. Thank you, Yogi.